Hi, welcome to Blindowl Outdoors. We hope you enjoy our channel, and if possible, could you please join our Patreon page? We really need your help. It's been a long, hard road. Thank you. Hi, welcome to our channel. My name's Dan. Sorry for a little bit of vibration. I'm sitting in my car. My bruise is getting better. My cheekbone's still tender. If I busted it or what. I'm sitting in my car with the air conditioning on. It's about, it's 6 o'clock. Murphy just started cooking me some dinner, so I'm gonna have some rice and potatoes for dinner tonight. That's pretty good, huh? A lot of hot dogs. I just came out here because it's just stinking hot and humid. Had a long day today. I started a new fast today. I was going to do a 48-hour dry fast. That's 48 hours, no food, no water. And I made the mistake of telling Murphy about it. She got all pissed off about it. Like you're going to die not drinking water for 2 days. But you can go 3 or 4 days, no problem, without water. They say 3 days, but I think you could go 4 or 5 if you had to. It depends on where you're at, but if you're sweating in the desert, you know, it lowers it. Here in the Philippines, it's super humid. I sweat like crazy. But today, I started about, what was it, after breakfast, I guess, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. And it's 6 o'clock now. I just had a sip of water. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours without water. And all I did today, I'm sore today, and yesterday I did a bunch of work outside 2 days ago, cutting a bunch of branches off a big huge tree with a piece of bamboo, 25-foot piece of bamboo with a saw tied on it, trying to go up and down, and the bamboo's this big around, trying to go up and down and cut the branches off. And I got one to actually cut, but by the time I was done, my body was completely shot. It started to fall down and landed on the roof, and I got a rope and threw over it, and I pulled it down. And then the second branch, I sat down for a couple minutes, and the second branch, I just made a couple scratches on it, and I was only good for about 30 seconds. I had to quit, and I was just completely soaked. Shirt, shorts, just pouring out water, and my hands start shaking. I went too far, and I know my limit when I start to shake, and then I'm shot for a whole day. But I had my rope on a log. I threw it over another branch that was only about that big. The first one was about like that. The second one was about like this, and they're way out, 20 feet out over my roof. And I think rodents and stuff are running on the roof at night. Something is. Murphy says it's rats. I think it's either a big snake or bats or something, because it's way louder than a rat would be. But that's neither here nor there. So I threw the rope over one of the branches and did I can't think of the name of the knot. Did a real good knot on the log, and I just started pulling it, and it just snapped, just exploded off the tree. I got missed by about this much by the branch coming down whack, and they're coming down for 25 feet up in the air. Just missed me. And then I sat down again, and then there was. So that was three. That was the first one fell down on its own because I cut it on a few days ago, and then there's one hanging on, touching on the kitchen roof. So I tied the log and throw that over that. It took me like 6 or 7 throws before I could finally get it over the branch, and I got it around there and tied it off and pulled on it, pulled up. It just snapped too, just snapped like a firecracker, a big loud noise. I got that done, and there's still one more hanging over the kitchen, and I gave up. I just gave up. I crawled into the house and went out to the bathroom, took a shower, and didn't do anything all day. Didn't do anything the next day. Today, I feel fine today, but I don't feel like working hard. So today, like I say, I started a 48-hour dry fast, and all I did was sit in the house on the computer, and all I thought about the whole 7 hours was, man, am I thirsty? I just couldn't get it out of my head. I'll try it again for sure, but I think I'll try to do it a little differently and make sure I have something to do for the first 5 or 6 hours. It actually be good to have 5 or 6 hours and then go to bed and then wake up. I'm sure you'll be thirsty when you wake up, but I think getting over that first 28 or 18 hours or 20 hours or something like that, I think after that the rest of the 48 will go pretty easy. I remember my first regular water fast. The very first one was actually kind of hard, and I've gone now. The last one I went on was 90. Yeah, it was 90 some hours I went on. I was going for 72, and I went to 90. And once you get to 48, it's nothing. Just a water fast, because you're not really hungry. You're hungry because you have a habit of eating, to me anyway. And but I was watching something that said a dry fast, a 48-hour dry fast is way better than a 72-hour water fast. And your body goes through different things during the fast because you're not drinking any water. They say your body does all kinds of stuff after 24 hours on a water fast, and 24 hours to 72 hours, you're actually burning a little bit of fat, and around 48 hours, you're supposedly producing stem cells in your stomach and stuff, and and you're supposed to be clean out bad cells and all this different stuff. I've watched 100 different reports on it, and they all say something different. But there was some Japanese professor, I guess a doctor, and he did a bunch of studies on fasting and had some actual real data on what your body does at different times during a fast. And they were recommending 72-hour water fast, which is 3 days. And once you get to 3 days, you might as well go to 4 days or 5 days. The only problem with the fasts is getting off of them. I guess the secret would be for maybe 2 days before the fast, only eat rice and soup or something like that. So your intestines sort of get cleaned out a little bit. I tried taking laxatives and fiber and stuff during the fast, and that didn't help at all, because when your fast is over, it seems like your intestines my intestines anyway, are all blocked up near my butt, somewhere in that area where you're almost constipated, and it takes about 3 days. I never started on, when I got off a fast, started with, I don't have access to soup and different things, so I usually just eat whatever I have, which is usually rice, and I'm really lucky, potatoes and a hot dog or something. But I'll eat a meal like that when I get off a fast, and it doesn't bother my stomach or anything like that, but it takes about 3 days of eating like that to actually get to the point where you can poop again. And then it's gross, but I don't actually ever you don't get to start pooping again. You gotta go in and get it and pull it out for the first 2 days, and that really sucks. It's a shitty job, but there might be some sort of secret. Like I said, maybe eating for the first 2 days before your fast, eat nothing but lots of water, maybe a couple bowls of rice, real light eating, and maybe the last day a can of soup or something like that. That might be the secret. I'll try that next time if I can figure a way to get a can of soup or something. I have a can of green beans. I ordered like $4 for a can of green beans, ordering it over the internet. But something like that might make a difference. I don't know. The longest I've ever gone is 2 times. I went 14 days without eating. And actually, take back 3 times I went 14 days in my life. I went once 14 days in the Philippines in 1992 or 93. 92 when I first got there. I stayed for a year in the mountains, and there was nothing to eat. Everything they had was grotesque, man. There's nothing that I could eat. They didn't have rice. I never had rice before in my life, but they didn't have rice. They had ground corn. They had nasty fish and all this gross vegetables and stuff. Again, I didn't eat for 14 days. And then I found some lady walking around carrying a basket with a towel on. I said, "What do you got there?" And of course she didn't understand me, but I pointed and looked at it, and she opened it up. She had these rolls. I'd said this story before. She had rolls, and I broke one open, and it was like apples and cinnamon. Oh man, I bought the whole basket from her. I bought the basket even. I bought the basket and the whole basket of rolls, and I ate them all down within 3 or 4 minutes. Probably 10 of them I ate, and started walking back to the hut where we lived at. I lived in a tent, but outside of a hut, and I got about eighth of a mile from the hut, and my guts started twisting, and I'm like, oh my God! This is back when I was 30 years old. I started running, jogging to get back to the bathroom as fast as I could, and I jumped in the CR, which is a cement floor with a urinal on the floor facing down, and my guts exploded. Diarrhea. I sprayed diarrhea, and it turned out that there wasn't apples and cinnamon, which I didn't think at all. I just smelled it. I was like, man, this is apples and cinnamon. It turned out to be coconut and cinnamon and sugar, and it was delicious. And I tell you, it was fantastic because the coconut was soft and everything. But man, did it go! It went through me in 10 minutes. I was like, my God. And then I got so dehydrated, because I was already dehydrated anyway, but I got so dehydrated, I started getting cramps in muscles. I'd move a little bit, I get these cramps in my sides and in my legs, different places I didn't know I even had muscles. And I remember my ex-father-in-law jumping. I was laying down, he was jumping on my calf with his knee, trying to get my legs straightened back out again. And finally I got straightened out, and me and my ex-wife, I crawled to the highway, which was about 3 kilometers, and got on a jeepney and went to the city and went to a hotel, and I drank water, and they had a free breakfast, and they actually had potatoes and cut up little squares of fried fish. Turned out to be tuna fish fillets. I ate the whole tray at the buffet. I just took the tray to my table. I ate the whole tray, and after about a week, I felt alive again. You gotta be real careful you don't get dehydrated. Here it's so easy to get dehydrated because it's so hot and you sweat. I sweat so much.
Thanks for watching. Take care.